know how formal this is, but one of the actors from the film is here with me.
Whoa.
I didn't know if he can chime in at certain points or however you guys want to do it, but
if we got to take Baldwin, we will.
No, hey, Jamie, do this. If you could do it two ways. You can obviously have him just sit in your spot, or if you want, we do have one more opening in that can still fit in the show. That if they want to log in on their phone or something like that, they can log in separately and just join us too. That's fine. However you want to handle it there. But yeah, you talk about formal. Are you kidding me? You've been on the show before.
We are not fancy.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll have him sit like right here off camera, and then
Perfect.
It's your moments. If he wants to pop in, he will.
Nice.
So who is it? So maybe we can have some good questions for him.
So his name is Johnny Wachter. He's in the scene with Alec Baldwin. He's one of the chasers. He plays Martin. You may know him. He was in General Hospital for quite a bit of time.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
cool.
You
guys
a big guy.
partying before the big premiere? Is that what it is, or what?
We're doing a little party, and he's the reason this whole movie exists, because I went storm chasing with him. This was prior hanging out with Tempest Tours. He was just a buddy I took chasing, and it was after I filmed him with just my camera doing a proof of concept that we realized, oh, this could be a movie. So he's got a good Genesis story.
Not bad. Well, so do this. I guess if at any point, while we're talking, if there's a question that you're like, hey, I'm going to turn over, just do me a favor, give him a good introduction for us. Right?
Hey. What's up, fellas?
Hi.
And lady, and see up in the top right corner.
I could do one of those if you want. It could be like a little pan.
That could work too. Yeah, you're
cool.
the director. You know how to do that shit. Yeah.
Or you can just lean in.
Can you get a blue spotlight too?
There you go.
So we've gone live. So I am just going to say for our Patreon folks, if you're watching live or if you're streaming this at some point after the fact, welcome to Stormfront Freaks Raw. So we call this Raw because it's the recording of our audio podcast. So the fun part about Raw is you get all the crap that we edit out. You get all the I've already sworn once, swear word once. I mean, you just get that stuff. So sometimes you got to think about putting the earmuffs on the kids. And if you're watching the raw version, if you would like to avoid that, then you want to listen to our podcast. So we'll edit the show and upload an audio podcast. You can find it on all the podcast options that are out there, Spotify and Apple Podcasts and stuff. But you can listen to that. That'll be edited. And we're actually going to be making sure that that's available tomorrow night, Friday night, for the premiere of the show. Normally we take a couple days. We take our time. But Jamie, just for you, we got Jamie's in the house, director of Supercell, which is what we're talking about tonight. So Jamie Winterstern, we'll have a chance to chat with him again. This is the second time we had him on. Had him on about a year ago. So
this is a sequel.
It is, Jamie. So hey, do me a favor. Can you adjust your camera so we're not cutting off your forehead? Can you see yourself? Yeah. There you go. I'm going to direct you a little bit. Turning things around.
Too, just so you know.
And then
he will direct you. He will.
Okay.
Not much.
All the time.
I know where I stand in director standings here. So one quick question before we get started with anything, Jamie. How's the new family? I keep seeing some great photos on Instagram and looks adorable and looks awesome. So how's the new family?
It's funny. I feel like when you have a kid, and I don't know how many of you have kids, but you unlock a new level of life, and you think you know what life is. And then you have a kid, and you love. There's like this love I've never felt in my life. It's like a harder, unconditional feeling. So that's pretty cool. And she is 6.5 months. Her name's Kathy. I named her after my mom. And I'm very lucky to have a beautiful fiance, Julia, who's back in Los Angeles. I'm in Dallas currently for the release of the movie tomorrow. She's incredible. She does a lot of work. I'm very lucky to have her.
That's
Congratulations, Jamie.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That is cool. That's good. I'm so glad to hear that.
Nobody's getting sleep at 6 months, right?
I mean, I'm getting sleep, but I'm very lucky.
Don't forget that. Don't forget
The
that.
nanny's not getting sleep.
All right, so let's do this. I don't have Serena hasn't gotten back to me, so I'm wondering if she is still out of power and
All right.
Yeah, that's right. I saw that.
so she might not be on, so we might have to divvy up some different things tonight. But so we basically have got everybody on that's going to be on. So here's what we'll do, and Jamie, just give you. How's everybody's mic? Maz, you sounded good. Dina, I think you were fine.
Hello.
Yep.
Everyone's good. Jamie was good. Okay, so we're good there. We'll keep our VIPs. We'll keep them on.
Sounds good.
Jamie, I think you know Dan Wallace is
Of course, Dan, how
with
are
us
you?
tonight as well.
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. Yeah, Dan and I have been keeping in touch. We're almost at a packed house. I'm excited to say at the Grandscape Galaxy.
I see that.
I feel like there's only about I don't call them the nosebleeds because I don't think there's nosebleeds in theaters, but it's the first 2 rows. I guess you can call them nosebleeds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what's remaining, but we have a pretty packed house, and I know.
No, it
Dan's
looked
been-
good. I every once in a while I'm jumping on to see what's filling up, and it's it looks pretty good. So that's great.
It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
That's great. So here's what we'll do, Jamie. We'll do a quick. I'm going to do a teaser intro, but one thing I'm going to do during the teaser intro is I'm going to play the trailer of the film in our little teaser. So I'll get started. So just so everybody knows, I'm going to play the trailer. If you're not muted, just realize you're probably still going to be able to be heard, which is fine if you want to do an ooh or an ah or something like that during the or an
I want to go Supercell.
like Brady.
Brady. Yeah.
You could do that if you want, but for the most part, we're just going to play the trailer. Realize it's pretty good audio because there's a lot of talking and there's a lot of whatever during it. So it's not just a bunch of music that for the listeners are going to be like, what the hell is going on? So we'll do the trailer in the teaser. And then once the teaser's done, we'll come back and go ahead and start things. I'll start with the applause. And we'll get started. I'm going to introduce who our co-hosts that are on tonight. And then Maz, I'm going to turn it over to you to give Jamie's introduction.
Awesome.
And you can start with the first question. Jamie, just quick couple, and then we'll take a break. So we'll go maybe about 30 minutes, and then we'll take a break. And then we'll come back after the break and go a little bit longer. But is there, Jamie, is there like anything that's like off limits? Not going to talk about?
At this point, I don't think so because the movie's coming out. Obviously, yeah. I mean, happy to talk about Anne.
Okay.
Happy to talk about Alec. Obviously, everything that happened, that happened after the filming was after the filming. Right. My experiences were all positive, so I'm just going to keep it positive.
No, cool. That's great. Here's what I'll do then. If you're open to that, which I think will be good because the audio podcast is not going to get released till tomorrow night anyway, after the premiere of the show. So what I'll do is kind of maybe let's wait, and this is for everybody. Let's wait until the second segment of interview questions. And maybe we'll kind of say, hey, this might be some spoilers coming up, or it's not like the movie's got a ton of Luke, I'm your father kind of spoilers going on. But certainly if there's some spoiler things, let's save them for the second segment if possible, because then I can at least come in when we come back from break and say, hey, this might be a little spoiler segment. So if you haven't seen the movie, maybe you want to fast forward 20 minutes or something. Does that work for everybody?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Anybody got any questions? Jamie, you ready to roll?
Let's do it.
And again, don't forget, Jamie, you've got a job here tonight too of potentially introducing your co-host, or it is your co-host tonight. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So just make sure if we get to that point that you're like, hey, this is a good question. Don't forget, you've got to do the intro. Okay.
Yes, I will remember to introduce him.
Good.
Do you want me to do that in the introduction?
No, just go ahead. I would just say you do the intro of Jamie. Okay. Because that's the main focus, and then we'll. Okay. That's such a cool. That's pretty cool. Thanks for. We got a little bonus tonight.
Yeah.
And I hope. Are you guys drinking anything? I hope you guys are drinking something.
Straight Everclear for me.
Nice.
Yeah, we got people on our show that drink water and call it something else too. That's fine. That's fine. All right,
you should
cool.
just put it in a cup that you can't see through.
I haven't had to.
Yeah, you're right. I should. Yeah, I'll go fix that. Let me remedy.
No, I like your first answer better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. Little moonshine or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and get started. So MJ, what I'm going to do is I've got the trailer queued up, and it will automatically start when I add to the stream. So, all right, do you want me to add? Just go ahead and add it when I'm ready.
You go ahead and add it because you know what the timing is.
Very good. You can probably, I don't know, MJ, if you've got the ability to control the volume on that. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add it right now. You tell me what the volume's like.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tight as a group, and when I say we go, we go.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. So here we go with our teaser coming in 3, 2. Hey, Storm Freaks, it's Phil. The movie Supercell has just been released, and we've got writer and director Jamie Winterstern back on the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tight as a group, and when I say we go, we go. We're getting closer to the heat than any other tour company. Let's go! Everybody in the van! Ha-ha! You're welcome. Your parents are the reason I started chasing. Did you know about this?
It can save lives. You know how dangerous this world is.
Who goes out onto a roof to get close to the sky?
Hey! So you thought it would be a good idea to turn this thing on and see what happens?
That's what Dad did.
Just get me within range.
You came to be a storm chaser, just like your dad.
100 miles an hour. Getting tornado still on the ground in my.
Will you wait?
He's not here, is he? Well, let me come with. I can help.
Rule number 1, always make sure you got at least a half a tank of gas. Rule number 2, make sure you got an escape.
Go! Get inside!
So what's rule number 3?
Never get caught in the bear's cage.
We need a shelter now.
Welcome to the backside of a supercell.
We chased for knowledge, not thrill.
Get out of there now!
Buckle up. We're going to war.
And we keep bringing more hashtag weather fools on episode 179 of the Stormfront Freaks podcast. All right. Jamie, that's great soundtrack, by the way. I love I love that orchestra. That's good stuff. Yes. Good stuff.
Yes, it was.
All right.
My wife's a big music person, and she picked up on that right away. She said that was really good. She really enjoyed that too.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and get started. Just so everybody knows, this first segment, I'm going to play a clip. And So at whatever point, and then I'll kind of talk in the private chat. So maybe keep an eye on the private chat. But at some point, I will come in, Jamie, and I will ask you about the clip with Roy and William when they come back with the damaged van. And they're chit-chatting a little. This was a clip that was provided to us that's legit to show. So, but it's the point is it's when they come back with the damaged van and they're chit-chatting a little bit in the garage. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, no, of course.
So you can so I'll just kind of ask you to maybe kind of set it up, explain what's happening here, and then I'll play that.
Would that have been bad if he didn't know what part of his own?
It only would have been bad just that if it wouldn't have been bad, it would have been an issue probably if you didn't know what clips were issued, right? Which might be a thing. Like I have no clue what our marketing people did.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Well, that one, there's two clips, exclusive clips that went out. That was the first one. Then there was one with Ann and Jordan.
And then the second part, we'll cover that second clip.
Okay. Yeah.
In our second after break, we'll cover both of them. So, all right, Maz, everybody ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Here we go. We're coming in 3, 2. Hey, welcome to the most entertaining weather podcast. This is the award-winning Stormfront Freaks podcast, and it's brought to you by Atmosphere Weather app. It's the most amazing weather app because most weather apps, they require you to swipe and tap your way around multiple screens just to get all the information you want. But Atmosphere Weather, they provide your hourly forecast on one screen in a 24-hour clock that's got your radar right in the middle. So you can try the free iPhone version at atmosphereweather.com or your iPhone app store. Thanks to our Patreon teammates for supporting the show. I see we've got here chatting in with us. Jeremy's on, Alec is on, and then we got our VIPs in the studio as well with Angela, Garrett, and Dan. So we appreciate everybody that's helping us support the show. But it's always happy hour when we record. It doesn't matter what time of the day it might be. But number one, it kind of lets you know that we like to have a little fun here on this weather podcast, but gives us an opportunity to go around the bar and find out which of our co-hosts happen to be here tonight as well. So I'm going to start up in Minnesota with Mark MJ Johnson, our producer and Skywarn coordinator. Mark, what are you drinking, MJ?
Hey, everyone. Back to kind of a somewhat of a standard for me. I've been drinking a while. And it's the Kraken Bear. A little Kraken, a little root beer schnapps, a little root beer. Tasty.
Oh.
Very good. Very good. All right, Dina Knightley, our meteorologist and weather producer with weather.com. What are you drinking, Dina?
I've got my blackberry moonshine. We were talking about moonshine earlier. It's got the cranberry, the huckleberry hooch drink. I love that. It's so good.
I've got my root beer moonshine, just so you know. That's what I'm putting down. Mark Maz Massaro, our former on-camera meteorologist. What are you drinking, Maz?
So in honor of the movie, I went to the fridge looking for my PBR and ended up with a Busch. I don't know. I guess I was out. So.
That looks like a 40. Are you like packing the big 40?
It's a cold 45, man.
That's amazing. Good. That's amazing. Well, we've got a great guest here tonight, as you heard in our teaser, Maz. Let's find out who we got here tonight.
Awesome. We are excited to have Jamie Winterstern here. He's completed his MFA and BA from USC. There's more letters, but y'all can't handle it. So that's the film school in 2011. Now, upon graduation, he went on to direct, edit, and produce the primetime drama series Siberia for NBC. On March 17th, Winterstern's feature directorial debut will be released. So Supercell. That's what we're talking about. It's a modern-day storm-chasing movie starring Alec Baldwin, Anne Heche, and Skeet Ulrich. It premiered at the Newport Beach Film Festival last fall and won the Grand Jury Prize in Cinematography. Jamie, welcome. Congratulations. And I got to ask you, I was so excited to see all the United States. What's with Montana and Georgia?
That's a good question. Well, it's funny because when you make movies, you shoot where the tax breaks are, and you get good tax breaks in those states. The funny thing is that I was requested to shoot the entire movie in Georgia at one point in time. What I guess the producers didn't understand was there's trees in Georgia.
Yes.
You can't have a storm chasing movie when there's trees. So I was able to convince them to shoot at least half the movie in Montana, which at least is a part of the plains. We were shooting during a time, in fact, it was about 2 years ago, April, May. So storm season was at the height in the southern plains. So it was just a smarter decision to stay north. And we were still shut down by high winds and some weather elements. But yeah, we shot half the movie in Montana outside of Billings and half the movie, the interiors, in Thomasville, Georgia.
Nebraska, Kansas, there's a lot of states that don't have trees. I'm just saying.
I agree.
Hey, I got to say this before, just to let you know. So my son wanted to go see Cocaine Bear. And so we went and saw Cocaine Bear. Your movie is 100 times better than Cocaine Bear, man.
Nice.
I'm telling you right now.
Yes. I love it. That's amazing.
It is funny because I live here in Georgia, Jamie, and they do tons of TV and movie here from all those tax breaks. And I've tried to chase here. You can't. You can't see anything. And then the traffic's horrible. So, but I did wonder, like, doing a movie with weather. I mean, what was your biggest challenge? Because it all looks so beautiful. To get that kind of nature.
Yeah, well, I would say that, I mean, the biggest challenge in filming weather, it's weather. And when you try and recreate something natural, it's almost, weather's so imperfect, right? And the creation of making films and perfecting the craft of creating all this stuff, it's hard to emulate. So I would say it was a mixture of doing it as practically as possible, where we would use Ritter fans and rain machines and dust particles to do it kind of the old-fashioned movie making way that they don't do it anymore, to try and create as much of that imperfect look on camera. And then when we had the opportunity to go out and collaborate with fantastic filmmakers that are storm chasers, like Pecos Hank Scheima, who will be at the screening event tomorrow, who gave me access to his entire library of footage to utilize these amazing shots he's taken of tornadoes and mammatus clouds and the supercell structure that I could basically comp into the plates so that everything you're seeing is real. So that was kind of the key to making it work for this.
And I think, Jamie, that must have played a huge role in those cinematography awards that you won, all that natural. Because I assume you're saying most of that weather, those weather shots were all natural, right?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Jarek, who's our cinematographer, we've worked together since USC Film School, and it was very comforting on my first movie to have somebody I went to school with, just to surround myself with familiar people. But he and I had like a game plan, and it was always to bring back the classical nature of filmmaking, to have things be more tangible, to have things be more tactile in the frame, and to also just pump up the lighting to make it feel more nostalgic. There's a lot of backlight in the movie. In a lot of interiors, we add a lot of haze. You might see that in some of those great 80s films like E.T., Close Encounters. And I just think that it just adds some magic to the whole experience. And that's what I wanted, younger audiences, kids who don't watch those films. Those films were when I was 8 years old, 10 years old. They don't see those movies today. So I think it was a mixture of trying to bring back some early era filmmaking mixed in with the ultra realistic, naturalistic way we shot the skies and the Great Plains and the skyscapes.
So Jamie, I'm guessing you've seen Twister.
No, is that a good movie?
It was a pretty good movie. What was that, 1990 or something like that? So 96. I'm wondering, are people 96? Thank you.
I watched it.
Is this like Twister? Is it like, and I have to say, I remember watching the skies in Twister and sometimes going, I don't see the bad weather from that type of sky. But I have to say, in your movie, I was like dang, you had some good stuff. I had the surround sound going. The basses were shaking the house.
Yeah, the
Good
sound was
stuff on that.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, it's funny because, listen, Twister's the, you know, it's the storm chasing film that we've all watched, and it changed the industry actually. When Twister came out, storm chasing wasn't really a novelty. It was a bunch of crazy scientists trying to get their probes in front of storms for scientific purposes. And when I went chasing, and I saw what I saw 4 years ago, which is essentially Disneyland in the Midwest. There are tens of thousands of tourists that come from Australia and the UK, and there's these traffic jams in cities that have probably less than 200, a population of 200 people. That was kind of the evolution of what storm chasing's become. That to me was the next chapter of what the storm chasing industry is. So listen, Twister, I love Twister. Jan de Bont, unbelievable filmmaker, and he had a budget. I don't like to complain, but it would be nice to have a studio budget of $100 million to make a tornado film. I'm just saying. So it's hard to compare our little micro indie storm chasing movie with Twister. I am flattered though. If people say they enjoy it as much or more, or if they get something more out of it, that's a huge kudos to the experience and what we were able to create. But I do see it as the next chapter of how storm chasing has evolved from being very much scientific to tourist experience.
Jamie, do me a favor. So we've got a clip here that we're going to play from the movie. If you can maybe set this up a little bit and talk about what's kind of going on in this part. You want to set it up?
Oh, sorry.
I guess no, that's okay. Just kind of explain what people are going to hear.
So this is when William has finally an honest conversation with his father's old colleague, Roy Cameron, who he calls Uncle Roy, to talk about what happened to his legacy, his family business, because they were Brody Storm Labs and they were focused primarily on science. And when he came out to the plains, he discovered that it's Brody Storm Tours, and it's now completely different than what he thought. Roy's kind of catching him up on life as to what really happened with his family.
Awesome.
Why didn't he listen to you?
Well, Zane's changed.
Every time you sell one of those trucker hats, you got a name on it. It's my mom me to cut. Yeah. Already knew the answer to that.
You know, one of the things I loved most about your dad, he could look up at the sky and know everything he needed to know. He didn't need some radar on his phone. Nowadays, you download some app, rent a car, you call yourself a chaser.
What's that got to do with anything?
Right after we lost your dad, your mom was forced to bankrupt the lab. Brody Storm Labs eventually became Brody Storm Tours. And here we are.
What about Zane? Really needed that guy as a partner?
Do I look like a partner? Huh? I'm an employee. Hey, I gotta eat.
So do we.
So that's really good. So here's what I want to know is, Jamie, because you went storm chasing, obviously to kind of help you get some experience and get ready for making this movie. What from your experience or experiences when you were out storm chasing, did you make sure you made sure you added to the film?
Oh my, there's so much. It all started with Tempest Tours. And it started with a beautiful couple named Kim and Steve George, who basically introduced me to the storm chasing, you know, as kind of a hobby, as a thing. Before that, I was completely clueless. And then through Kim and Steve George, I meet Martin Licious, who's the owner of Tempest Tours, which is an actual tour company. They have a conference that Dan Wallace and I met a couple of times. The last two, in fact, it's called TESA.
Yeah.
I think it's called Texas Severe Storm Association Conference. Correct me if I'm wrong. And they have fantastic people show up from the National Weather Service. People like Roger Edwards, who's a forecaster for the National Weather Service, and other forecasters and scientists. And I know I'm forgetting some names, but meeting one person led to meeting more people. Dr. Lee Orff was someone I consulted with. He introduced me to Pecos Hank, who's a big YouTuber and storm chaser, who introduced me to Skip Talbot. And I just kept meeting a community. And what was beautiful is I was just sharing the passion and love for both making films and weather. I always loved weather growing up, and I've always loved making movies. And I think that passion was shared amongst everybody, and everyone just wanted to chip in and help. And it was a communal experience where, Tempest Tours, they gave me so much insight. They read the script. They gave me, specific ideas on how tours were operated and weather events, what would happen, what would not happen. They gave me access to their libraries of photographs on Facebook. So, I was able to utilize all that in addition to Hank's video clips, which were used as VFX for backplates of shots. So it was like a village. The whole community, the storm chasing community, really banded together. And I feel like this movie is for them. It is for a wide audience, but my heart goes to the storm chasing community, because I couldn't have made this movie without them.
Did you get to hear a lot of stories from all the people that you
all the good war stories?
Exactly.
Well,
is there one that stands out at all, or?
I need to introduce somebody for some good war stories. There's a gentleman next to me who was there at the beginning. You may have known him from, his name is Brando Corbin from General Hospital. He is Johnny Wachter. We worked together on Siberia. He was the lead of Siberia on NBC.
How's it going, guys?
And he was also in Supercell. He plays Martin the Storm Chaser, who has a great scene with Alec Baldwin near the end of Act 2.
Yeah.
Johnny.
Welcome. Share what were any stories, storm chasing stories you might have heard while out and about?
Well, I'll share an experience of ours and how I got involved. And then I don't know.
Perfect.
I call it a weird story, but it was
Don't pull your punches now.
So, like Jamie said, he's always been interested in weather, but before storm chasing, he was just kind of taking photos of thunderstorms over in Florida. I don't know how he ended up in Texas, but he's in Texas, and he's with Steve George, who I don't know at the time, but he's on Instagram posting some videos talking about tornadoes and chasing tornadoes. And I reached out to him. I said, are you chasing tornadoes? He goes, yeah, I'm going next week. You want to come? I said, hell yeah. So I clean my schedule. I get in a flight and I go meet up with Jamie and his now fiance Julia. And we've got a trio. We rent a 2019 Suburban, the Death Sled, and I get appointed the wheelman. So
nice.
I'm thinking storm chaser. We're going to be we're right in it. All right, this is where the weather is. We're going to see a tornado. We drive about 2,500 miles over the course of 5 days, just chasing, and seeing a bunch of almost. You get the circulation, think you're going to get something coming down, and I'm learning. Not really. I'm driving. He's on the radar. He's got Steve George kind of directing him and stuff. We're just kind of figuring it out as we go, but we learned some things. Don't go in a tree line, really. Have a half tank of gas if you're chasing a storm. have an escape route, stay on the southeastern side. So these are the things I'm just kind of concerning myself with. On the very last day, actually the second to the last day, we're flying out the next day, right? Yeah. So the second to last day, I forget where we ended up, but we went up to Kansas and then we
were back in Dallas.
Then came back to Dallas. And then the sirens started going off while we're in Dallas. And then we catch word that there was a tornado that touched down in Canton. And so we looked at the map and we're like, can we make it? It's about 45 minutes north. And I was like, well, that's 20 minutes with me driving. So we chased up
man.
And we're going through one of those, older Texas towns that characterize this state so well. And the sirens are going off just like the films, and it's raining down hard, and he's screaming, yelling directions at me, go left, go right. We see a troop of like storm chasers cars with the lights on them. We're like, we're in the right place. So we get in line, and I pass a few people, and we get directly behind the main vehicle with the yellow lights flashing, and they stop, and there's a little bit of a pasture on the left, but like on the right, it's all tree line, and the radar on his phone is kind of going out. So we're really relying on this people in front of us to be like, hopefully their radar is still working. And then our Suburban starts shaking. We roll the windows down, wind's coming in, rain's coming into the side, starts hailing and stuff. And then tree branches start breaking about 100 yards from us. And then we just see some real chaos going on. And then it goes through. And we're thinking, that was it. We had a tornado. Come to find out later, we think it was one of the vortices that came off, but we kept chasing. There was a point where we thought we were in front of it, and I was on the northwest part, and we could see the top of the storm over the tree line. We thought it was a tornado, and I decided to gun it, and he's deciding that we shouldn't, but I do it anyways. So I broke a rule. But it was pretty scary, and that was butthole clenching moment number one. We all survived.
That's a good line. We're keeping that.
We came back next year, and we did it again. We had another butthole clencher, but
that second one was a better butthole clencher story, though.
Yeah.
We got time. What's the second? I want to know when you had to clench that butthole second time.
The second time around,
you said a year later.
Yeah, so almost exactly.
Okay. We were in Del Rio, and we were going toward Uvalde.
Yeah, so
it was that part of Texas,
pretty far south, right? Yeah. If I remember correctly.
It's nighttime.
And we started to really kind of like, yeah,
we were stupid.
Oof. Right, knowing is half the battle.
We were risky.
Nighttime chasing.
But we were in a town where the water was coming down hard, and we had these road flares, and we had the cameras, so we're really trying to kind of play out some potential scene ideas that we would later eventually use in some of the concept footage. And so we're messing around, I'm going out in the rain with these flares and stuff, and he's filming from the inside, and then I believe we get back, and we were happy with some of the stuff we got. We started driving further south.
Well, no, so we were in Uvalde, and there was a cell that was blowing up to our east.
Okay.
And it was a weird place where there was a lot of highways, and then there was probably like 20 miles and more highways, maybe closer to San Antonio. And there was only like one very tree-like road that was weaving to get across, to cut ahead of this growing cell at night. And then the cell developed a couplet. So I was watching our radar because it was nighttime, and Johnny was driving, and I'm watching the radar, and the couplet is right on top of the GPS. And I remember I remember the smell. It's very hard. I wish I could put this in the movie. It smelled like fresh, wet grass. It felt like a lawnmower.
Like fresh cut vegetation.
That was the scariest smell, because that's, that wet bark, that means shit is getting ripped.
Yep.
And I thought to myself, we're going to die. And we're going to get lifted any minute, any moment because of that smell. And I started saying, call Val Castor. And you yelled at me. You said, shut up. Val's not going to do anything.
It was
good luck with that.
Yeah, but it was very quiet because then it was absolute darkness, and I'm sure you've all driven through storm where it's just sheets of rain and hail, and you can't see anything, and then it's pitch black on top of that, and it's flooding everywhere.
That's the best storm chasing right there. Yeah, you can't see crap.
So speaking of smells, guys, is one of your rules always bring an extra pair of underwear? Is that in there somewhere? One of your rules?
I just shit in the cup.
You need to totally go chasing with us. You will keep us laughing the whole time. I swear to God, he's coming with us.
That's I'll say this. It's funny because I on my Twitter feed I get you get the little ads. I had an ad just come through the other day with this tube that you can expand, and it's basically for peeing in when you're in the car and you're not going to stop. It was a Twitter ad, and I was like, bullseye. That's beautiful. Every chaser needs something like that.
What was the one from last year? The Shiwi or something for the women?
Yeah,
it was insane.
That's pretty accurate.
Man.
Yeah,
you gotta go. You gotta go.
I'll tell you what. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna take a short break for some storm chaser safety tips, and we're gonna be right back with more. Hang on.
MJ, did we just find our show title?
Yes. Butthole clenching. I'm using that.
Just
so you know, I'm going to use that.
Or that,
I'm taking it.
All right. Good stuff.
Awesome.
So let's just keep going here so we don't lose time. So we'll jump into the second segment. Dan and Angela and Garrett, keep your questions for when we finish the second segment. I want you guys to jump in with anything you've got too. So keep those in mind or think about them if you don't have one yet. So here's what we're going to do, gentlemen. We're going to come back out of break. We'll do some more questions, maybe another 20 minutes or so of questions. I will announce this as a potential spoilery portion of the show. So, freaks, if you guys want to ask specific questions about scenes of the movie or you want to get into stuff there, certainly feel free to do that. I'll continue to use the private chat to kind of communicate who's got questions, who doesn't, all that kind of stuff. But we'll go about 20 minutes, and then we're going to hear. So that is the sound for our lightning round. So we're going to play a little game show. Jamie, you're certainly welcome to get help and assistance there as well. So if you want to do that, but it's going to be a fun little game we're going to play. You'll like this. It's pretty good. It's pretty funny. So 20 minutes, then we'll hear the thunder, play the game show, and then when we're done with that, Jamie, I'll kind of ask you a little bit more about realize this is going to air tomorrow night, so it's probably going to be after the premiere.
That's so talk about anything,
which is fine. But what I'm going to want you to do is I'll give you an opportunity to say, okay, where are people going to be able to find the film? Where can they go? I did see there's a number of big cities that are showing it, but I know it's also pretty easy nowadays to just go download it and buy it on Vudu, and Apple TV I think has it and all that stuff. So certainly I'm going to want you to talk about that, hit that up. All that good stuff, and then we'll take a second break from there. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody, any questions? Ready to roll?
Yep.
Let's roll.
All right, we'll come right back in. I'll start and ask my first question, and then you guys jump in from there, okay? Coming in, 3, 2. Hey, welcome back to the show. So Jamie, I got a question for you. I'm really curious if, number one, if this was kind of something, were you able to completely cut and edit this movie completely by yourself? Was there any studio involvement? And whether there was or not, what did you end up cutting? I kind of want to know what did you feel you didn't want to add to the movie? It
was definitely not a studio film. It's an independent movie. And And I did have an editor. His name's Daniel Hanna. He went to film school with me as well. We worked together before. The editing of the film it's interesting. They say with movie making, you write a movie and then you direct a movie, and that's sometimes much different than what you write. And then of course you get into post-production, you edit it, and that's that could be completely different than what you directed and then what you wrote. And by the time you go from developing it to finishing it, it's sometimes a different movie. I would say that, there was a lot of the movie I couldn't film based on constrictions with time and budget. There was I think an ending between that was a bet for me. It was a better resolution for Quinn and William story right after the tornado hits the town that we had to kind of 86. There was a number of things that weren't shot just based on time, and then in post and during editing, we kind of had to stitch things together. There was a whole sequence where Zane, Alec Baldwin's character, takes William out without his family into that final storm, and all of that's out in the open plains. A lot of that was shot after principal photography on second unit. So there was a lot of this sequence was like a black hole. And it was a tough process. And I guess the answer to your question, I'll go back to the night of the first day. I was freaking out. It was my first movie, let alone big movie, with big stars during COVID. And our first day we were shut down to high winds. The winds were like 50, 60 mile per hour winds. So they shut us down. I didn't finish my first day. So I had to take that work and put it on the second day. And the second day was my first day with Alec Baldwin. So now I had all this pressure to do a day and a half work. First time working with Alec Baldwin, in one day. And I remember driving home, and my cinematographer, Andrew, and I were being driven home by my assistant. And I was able to be vulnerable with him because, we were friends for years. And the other thing, I just go on tangents, but the other thing about directing is you're scared. I mean, there's a lot of nerves in there, but the thing is you can't really share that with anybody because you have to be always in control. So it's very important to hold that when you're doing the job, but it's nice to have an outlet when you're off the job, and to have someone like Andrew there. He told me, he said, Jamie, you're not going to make the film you think you're going to make. As long as you get the essence of what you want to do, then you've succeeded. And I remembered that, and that really carried out to this moment. I don't think I made the film that I really thought I was going to make. The movie I storyboarded might have been a $50 million movie. It was a big movie, but at least the essence is there. The heart is there. And I'm very proud of that. So,
you talk, and I should let our listening audience know there might be some spoilers here in this segment. So if you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want to be maybe spoiled by some things, you might want to fast forward 15, 20 minutes. But you talked a little bit about Alec, and I'm just curious with his past on another film that happened after Supercell, with what he's going through as far as some legal battles and such. I just want to know, did that affect your release date? Like, has that had any impact on when this film was finally going to be released?
Well, yeah, I mean, that was a huge component. The movie was originally supposed to be released last fall, I believe, around October. And of course, that incident occurred after filming. And then let us not forget, we lost Anne last summer. And it was surreal to have these two things happen. Two of our main characters in the movie with these tragedies. So yeah, the film ended up getting pushed quite a bit to now, which I think is, it's March 17th, tomorrow. So that did impact us, and we did push just down the line a bit for that.
Why did you decide now was good or okay?
Oh, it wasn't up to me. So Saban's our studio, so they're control of basically domestic, which is North America, and they kind of decide when the movie should come out, and they base it off of all sorts of things, marketing reasons, what other movies are coming out. and it was just up to them. They decided to have it come out in March, which I thought was kind of cool because it's kind of the start of storm chasing season. So I think the timing.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
Picked a great time. I do have like Anne Heche and Alec Baldwin. Those are huge names. If you say this is your first movie, I mean, plus that's a plus. I mean, how did you get such big names in this movie?
You know, I guess the most important thing is a good story, and I think if you have a good story and you believe and you have passion in what you're doing, it attracts people. And for me, it wasn't always just about, oh, let's make a tornado movie. It's all about spectacle. To me, the core of the film was family. It was my relationships with my parents. It was me losing my mom a few years ago. How did that feel? And putting all that into the script, because, yeah, it's a tornado movie, but it's really not. It's a movie about a boy who has to become a man and has to navigate the relationships of his mom and his deceased dad. And I think that's what attracted the talent. Obviously, Alec Baldwin was first to sign on. And, him signing on, I give kudos to my brother, who is a producer on the movie, because he was able to get the script in front of his producing partner, Angel, who also is in the film, who's fantastic. And we were able to get Alec to agree to sign on. And of course, when you get Alec Baldwin, it's like a snowball effect and everything happens fast.
That's when Johnny finally agreed to be a part, right? It's like,
I was going to ask, Johnny's a big name too,
It was. I still played hard to get. I asked that I had to get top paid more than Alec, which they obliged. So
that's where the $100 million
went. In your contract, 2 butthole clenching events must be in my contract.
Exactly.
Hey, speaking of family, I'm a big credits watcher. I like to watch the credits of the. You must have a huge family. Did I count like 12 Wintersterns in this movie somehow?
Yeah, well, there's the family. We are a family of entertainers. My family is in the business, so my brother's a producer, and he's been a producer for quite a while. And my father is an executive producer. He has been producing since, I guess, the mid-thousands. He was at Lakeshore once upon a time. I don't know if you're familiar with Lakeshore. They put out movies like $1 Million Baby and Underworld. So it's been kind of a family thing, to work together. And listen, I know there's the term nepotism, but the film business, it's very difficult to navigate, and to have the support from people that I trust, like my father and my brother. I was very fortunate because I don't think I'd be able to get to this point without that support.
I was kind of expecting it to be like Alec Baldwin Winterstern at the very end. I was like, is there another one? It just kept showing up. So, hey, speaking of like Alec and the rest of the actors there, did you have to do any special coaching, or, when you're around storm chasers, they all kind of know this stuff, but when you get actors that don't necessarily know, is there a lot that has to go into teaching and all that?
That's good. Good question.
I think what you do is you set up a Ritter fan about 10 feet away from their face, and you put it on high. I'm joking. No, I know that.
Clinch.
It's funny. Alec said this to me. He would say the tale of 2 Tims. So he studied 2 Tims, and I want you to guess which. Obviously, you can guess who the 2 Tims were. Can you take a guess?
I know this, so I'll let anybody else guess.
Tim Burton?
No.
Come on. This is.
Okay, so I'll anybody else? No.
I'm just thinking about who the father might have represented.
Yes, that would be one, I bet. What is it, Dina?
Tim Samaras.
That's one of the Tims that he's.
Okay, I got one.
The other is in the last name, I bet. Reed? Timmer.
Oh, Timmer. Yeah, Timmer. Right.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Is it? Did you get it?
Is that who
Oh,
he said?
okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Alec, he did some research on obviously Tim Samaras and Reed Timmer. I know Skeet also. I was a big, educator myself because I had spent a couple years at that point just doing a lot of research, talking to storm chasers. I found Tim's legacy, Tim Samaras, heroic, and everything that from his from his beginnings to what he had to overcome, not being from the scientific side of things, like in terms of having a college degree, right? He was a little bit more of a rough-nosed engineer, and I love that about it. And a lot of that thematically was in the film, right? Like chase for knowledge or chase for thrills. And I feel like that's a common theme for chasers in general. And I think that, the actors, they did their research. I tried to educate them, but ultimately when they were on set, to have all the practical effects we had, because they were actually getting wet and feeling that 50, 60 mile per hour winds, they were in it. As Skeet said in an interview, he didn't really have to act because he was put into the environment.
That's good. Jamie, do me a favor. We're gonna play a second clip from the film with the ladies involved. Can you maybe set this up for us?
Right. So this is the love interest of William has tagged along with his mother, Quinn. Her name's Harper. Excuse me. And this is their first opportunity where they really connect. And, Harper is asking difficult questions about the death of Quinn's husband and William's father. And this is the first time that Quinn opens up about it and gives us some info on what happened on that fateful day.
When you do something as dangerous as going into a place where wind can throw your car hundreds of yards, every ride home, you get a little more numb. So the next time you go back, you want to go in further. And you want to stay longer. To satisfy some sort of... what? I don't know. If my grad student hadn't taken a friend, they'd be here. If they would have loaded one 50-pound probe into the truck rather than two, they'd be here. If they'd taken Highway 44, they'd be here. If they had been on any other stretch of land at that moment, they'd... I used to think that the risk that we took had some sort of calling because we chased for knowledge, not thrill. I guess Mother Nature doesn't care.
Then why do it?
Because somebody has to.
So good stuff. So little spoiler here. So I've got a question. At the end of the film, it's the first time I've ever seen anybody take shelter in a pool. Mm. Where did that idea come? I've never heard of that, and it could be as legit as hell, and that's fine. I've never heard. Where did that idea come from?
That should be like a Mythbuster episode. I hope they do one. So I'll give credit where credit's due. That wasn't my idea. So I'm in Utah writing the script with my co-writer Annie, and another friend of ours from film school, Michael Corbel. He's a brilliant director as well. He was just there for moral support. We were brainstorming some stuff together. I knew that we needed something kind of unique at the end of the film, something that is different. Because we did the hail, we did kind of the stuck in the mud, enclosures in a tight space, and all the elements, tornado sucking people up into the sky and whatnot. So he came up, he just threw it out there. He's like, "What if you went into a pool?" And I was like, "That could work." I was like, I did research, and if you look up tornado and pools, it's a terrible idea because you look at pools and it's filled with like 2x4s and cars, and it looks like it would be as treacherous as anywhere. But then you think about it, you are kind of subterranean. If you can get deep enough, that's something that should be tested.
It's, it reminds me of back in 1990, there was a video camera VHS tape of a family that took cover from a tornado under an overpass on a highway, which is probably which isn't a good place to be because of the wind tunnel effect and everything else. But that led to everybody thinking, hey, if I'm driving and there's a tornado coming, I should go under the overpass, which is like, probably shouldn't do that. But to me, when I saw that, I was like, I've never heard of that, but it kind of makes sense. It reminded me of Backdraft. Was it Backdraft? Where was it where they like went underwater and there's like flames went flying over them and they were underwater and
they were safe.
That's like Harry Potter.
Yep. The Rock. Yep.
The Rock. Yes.
That's what it was. MJ, you got a question. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I want to know if I was making this up in my mind or if this was real. Did I see some homages to some other potential films that people might recognize? Did I catch that? Do people want to look for that, or did I just make it up?
Are you talking? You're not talking about just the scene we watched. You're talking about the movie in general.
The movie in general. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. There's a lot of Easter eggs in that film.
Yeah, I thought there were some good ones. I just wanted to comment on that just a little bit. Yeah.
Well, how about this, MJ? You want to point a few out? I would love to know if anyone picked up on any of the Easter eggs.
Well, or can you tell us how many total?
Yeah.
And then we'll look for them.
Oh gosh,
who knows? There's probably a ton. Just on the bulletin boards, there were probably a ton, right?
Yeah.
I've lost count in terms of the amount of movie references or storm chasing pieces. One I'll just throw out the bat. I don't know if you noticed any of David Hoadley's illustrations, but that was huge. David, I never spoke on the phone with the man, but we emailed, and I'm like, "Sir, you're legendary. I would love to use your illustrations." He said, "You can use anything. I'm going to send you the originals. All I ask is that you pay for my postage of sending it." And he gave me everything, and I put it up there, and yeah, that was special because I know he's a legend in the storm chasing community. There's a lot of Spielberg references. Obviously, the phone booth. You may not know this. Have anyone seen Duel? One of his first movie.
Have not. No.
That phone booth is a replica of the phone booth used in Duel.
Okay.
Nice. Now I got to look it up.
And I may have noticed a testing the wind kind of effect that I saw somewhere else. I think so. I'll let people find that one.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, that is the sound. It is time for our lightning round. So this is our game show of flashy and brilliant questions that we always have a chance to play with our guests. And so we get two guests tonight. We get Jamie and Johnny. You guys are going to play a game together. I'll let you put two of your brains together for one. This game tonight we're playing is called Blank NATO.
Oh.
All right, so Blank NATO. So what this is, there are a lot of tornado storm movies that have been made over the years, and many that I'm sure have been made in the 90s, 2000s, etc., that no one has ever heard of, and some of them probably no one should ever hear of. But we're calling this Blank NATO, so I'm going to give you the name of a movie, and you guys, Johnny and Jamie, you guys get to decide, is this a real movie? So you're going to chase it. Yep, we're going to chase it. That means it's real. Or it's fake. I made it up. It's not the real name of a tornado movie. And so you're going to sit it out. Like, we're sitting that one out. I think it's fake, right? So you're chasing it. It's a real movie. Or you're sitting it out. It's fake. You got it?
Got it.
Makes sense? Okay, so here we go. So we're going to go through these one by one. I got I don't know, 10 or 12 of these. Here's the first one, and some of our listeners might be familiar with some of these because we've had some like trashy trailer. We've shown some of these. It's like, oh my God, they actually made this film. But here we go. So the first one, gentlemen, is called Christmas Twister. Christmas Twister. Is that a real movie that you would you chase it, or is that fake? You're going to sit it out.
I think the Cumies are popping. I think we're chasing
that one.
You're chasing it. That would be correct.
Oh,
That's a real movie. Christmas Twister. Christmas. All right, here's the next one. Stone-nados. Like it's a twister with stones.
I was thinking it'd be funny if it's stoned NATO.
Who knows? I didn't look up what this movie's about.
Bear.
It could be about something else. But Stone-nado. Is it real? Are you going to chase this one, or is it fake? Or are you sitting it out?
We're sitting it out. Yeah. No.
That's real, baby.
Oh, really?
Film.
No way.
Stone-nado.
Oh, God.
What?
Stonados.
wow.
Sorry, it's not one Stonado. It's multiple Stonados. All right.
NATO.
Next one. Yeah, you guys are all going to want to look these up when we're done. All right, Space Twister. I can only imagine this was done in space. Space Twister. Are you chasing it or are you sitting it out?
I think that there's got to be a Space Twister.
I don't think so.
All right, we'll go with him since he's the director. But for the record,
we're sitting this one out.
It's real.
Oh my God!
You missed that one too. You got to chase all the time on. So you got to always chase. All right, that's okay.
Always go with Brando.
Night of the Living Twisters.
Yes.
Night of the Living Twisters.
I like the dew point on that one.
You're okay. You're chasing it. That's fake. You guys would have busted on that one.
Well, you know what? There's Night of the Twisters, which is different.
Yes.
Than Night of the
There is. I caught you a little bit on that one. There is Night of the Twisters, but not Night of the Living Twisters. Fire Twister.
Sneaky.
Fire Twister.
Sure.
Chasing.
Chase.
Legit.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Legit. All right, here's the next one. Gator Nader.
That was
Gator
definitely
Nader.
What's that?
I
Is
think
Larry the cable guy in that one?
It was done by you.
Garrett's seen that one probably a few times. I imagine.
We're gonna chase it. We're gonna chase it.
I made that one up. Jamie, you gotta make that one though. That's what I'm telling you. Like that's your sequel to Supercell is Gatornator. Atomic Twister.
yes, chasing that one.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's
I
legit.
remember
We
that
actually
name.
that was one of our trailers we showed. Ice Twisters. These things are bringing everything.
I don't know. They do it all. They do all of them.
We're gonna do Gator Nader.
Oh, yeah.
I think we get when we go to Florida and we shoot Gator Nader. But continue.
Ice
Twisters.
I think we pass.
Okay,
I
let's
think we
pass
sit it
on
out.
this one.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
we're
sit it
sitting
You're
this
gonna
one out.
sit that one out. Nah, it's legit. You guys gonna miss that one.
That sounds like a figure skating team.
That's real. Ice Twisters. All right, Metal Tornado.
No,
Name
that's
of the-
definitely.
Metal Tornado.
I don't know anymore. I don't have a good gauge on it.
You know what? Just for the hell of it, let's go chase it. We're chasing it.
Yeah.
Use it
Nice
like
call. Nice call. All right, we got a few more. Cownado. Cownado.
Chase it.
Don't
Chase it. Moo moo, baby.
Yeah, you would have busted. You would have busted. All right, Clown-nado. Clown-nado.
This is real. Oh
You were
my
just
God.
making crap up.
No, I can't.
It's the most outrageous of them all so far.
No, so you can't do it.
I mean,
Does it have a balloon?
What's your call?
I'm sitting this one out. We're sitting it out.
No, it's legit. There's a clown NATO. There is a clown NATO. Honest to God, you gotta go Google that shit. All right, last one. Last one. This is the best one. Nipple twister. Nipple twister.
That's porn.
Man, what site are you on?
I know.
Dina, is that yours? Is that you in your porn search?
I was. Yeah, I didn't know how you did. I share my screen.
Nipple
sorry.
twister. Is that you chasing that one or sitting it out?
Chasing. Let's go for it.
All right.
You guys are men. You got to
I made that shit up. Guys, we played that with the guys all the time, right? You're like, twister and nipple. That was always good stuff. So
there's a drink.
How do we do?
You won.
I have no idea how you did. You missed Gator Nader and Nipple Twister, so I don't know. You might have gotten a C on that whole thing. I don't know.
Twister,
Phil, we would send them the prize, but they're going to have to pay for the postage, aren't they?
Yeah, no, we're an indie we're an indie show as well, so you got to understand that. But anyway, gentlemen, good job. You still did good. You got some. Now, can you believe some of those movies are legit? You got to probably check that out. But let's do this. Johnny, I'm going to start with you first. How can our listeners find you on social media and find what you're working on, all that good stuff?
Man, well, they can find me on Instagram at Johnny Wachter, and Wachter is spelled W-Actor. But I've got an episode that aired of Station 19 that was tonight, and then obviously you can come watch Supercell tomorrow at various theaters. And on Twitter, I'm Wachter Tractor.
Wachter.
Nice. That's like Clown NATO or Gator Nader or so. That's good. That's good stuff right there.
Finding that immediately.
All right, Jamie, do this first before we get to how people can follow you. Let's make sure we let people know how they can see the movie, see the film, Supercell.
So information, supercellmovie.com is a great place to go. It lists all the theaters and cities that it's playing theatrically. It's in limited theaters for a limited time. So starting tomorrow, if it's in your city, go check it out. It was built for the big screen. I would definitely take advantage of that.
Yep.
If not, you can get it on Redbox or iTunes or anywhere you can pay for it. It's available on demand and digital. And also, if you are interested in swag,
Hey, I saw that when you were on last year, you were wearing a Brody hat or something. And now after seeing the film, I know where you got all that crap.
Yes. Well, this is some OG stuff. So these were from the wardrobe. These items, but inspired the merchandise, which would become the brand of Brody Storm Tours. So if you want anything Brody Storm Tours, whether it's a hat, a shirt, a windbreaker, it's available on the website, supercellmovie.com.
Nice.
Check it out.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Definitely. We'll do that. So tell you what, we're going to go ahead and take our final break, and we're going to return with some hashtag Weather Fools.
All right.
Awesome job,
Thanks,
gentlemen.
Awesome.
That was fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
So one thing we want to do is we want to get we got our VIPs here as well. We want to make sure, because we always forget questions, and so they come up with some good ones that we like to make sure we use in maybe some future shows and stuff. So we got Dan and Garrett and Angela. Dan, I'll start with you because you're just first on my little Brady Bunch screen. You got a question for either of these guys?
Yeah. Is it possible that I saw some red and blue lights being used in the film?
Red and blue white?
Lights?
Lights.
LED lights? Light bars?
Oh, Yes, you did.
And any background on that?
So, are you talking about the lights that were on top of the Brody Storm Tours van?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, that was really a comment on, the personality of Zane Rogers as a chaser. And I feel like there is this, there's this fine line with chasing where when you're in an event like a storm, you may have this sense of being above the law. And it is in ways very dangerous because that's how a lot of accidents happen. And it just kind of represented, Zane's character to have that type of accessory on the van. And even Roy says in the movie it's for emergency purposes only. And of course, William ends up using it when he needs to at the end. So it was just a small comment on things I observed in the storm chasing world.
Thank you.
Garrett, what do you got?
I think I've watched it twice now on the screener so far, and already bought it for Apple there. But one of the things I missed watching it the first time that I picked up on the second was, well, I don't want to spoil it, but the watch, that final part. Did you always have that in mind? From initial, as your idea of ending it. With kind of things being paused and now moving forward finally.
Absolutely. I appreciate you picking that up. The watch was a big motif for me. The heirloom of the watch as it represented kind of the, I don't know, masculinity of a boy looking up to his father, and then him having that broken watch on his wrist the whole movie. And then at the end, him losing it, but it still kind of being there, and then it magically starting to work again. I thought that was a nice little full circle for the father-son story. And I've had these conversations with people where who knows, maybe through the thermodynamic nature of the vortices, it was able to jumpstart the mechanics of it or whatnot, but it was a little magical nod to the father at the end.
Nice. Thank you.
All right, Angela, what do you got?
So mine's kind of a comment with a question. So there's been a lot of speculation with Twister 2 coming out that it's going to follow a very similar storyline. Did you hear that chatter before, as you were making the movie or anything like that?
So this is a funny story. So COVID happened around, I'm trying to think exactly. Yeah, no. So we started writing before COVID. And the first draft of the script was completed by the time COVID began in March of 2020, I believe. And I remember when I heard in the news that they announced that the sequel to Twister was going to be done. And my heart dropped because, I've spent now a year working on something. And listen, as passionate as I am, it's very hard to compete with a machine that is Universal Studios, right? They're going to get the unlimited budget. At the time they had Joseph Kosinski, who did Top Gun, to direct it. I mean, the gentleman who wrote The Revenant wrote it. Ooh. It was just I mean, listen, as a fan of film, that's a movie I would watch in a heartbeat. I'm excited for them to make that movie. But I had this feeling that it would make Supercell obsolete. Now, here's the thing that is kind of this blessing, is that COVID ended up slowing down Twisters. Because COVID had to slow down these big machine-like forces because you couldn't operate, of a movie of that magnitude. Because we were a small independent film, we were able to be nimble, and I was able to use COVID to keep getting the script polished, to get it produced, and to even film during COVID situations where we had masks on, we had to get tests twice a day. It was a huge expense, but we were able to make a movie during COVID. Twisters had to stop everything for what was, I guess, 2 years. And the beautiful thing now is that we are able to come out now before, I guess, they even start filming. And it's interesting that you asked about the sequel to Twister. I thought to myself, well, one, I knew that the environment of storm chasing completely changed since Twister. So I knew it had to be about the theme park experience, about storm chase tours. For me, I thought I had this notion in my head, like, oh, Bill and Joe Harding, right? They were a storm chasing couple. And I thought that was interesting to me. And obviously, you had Bill Paxton, who passes away. Tim Samaras as a heroic figure and also inspiration to me learning about storm chasing. He passed away tragically in 2013. And then my mother, she passes away. So the deal, the theme of mortality, death and losing a loved one, it just kind of all merged into, themes that I needed to tackle. And I can see where people might think it feels like an appropriate next chapter to what Twister was. But I think that it just was this perfect storm of where I was in my life, where the industry was in terms of tornado storm chasing in general, not having a movie about them in 25 years. And I don't think there's so many ways you could tell that story. It just so happens that, I was the first to do it. And I have no doubt that their film's going to be unbelievable, and I look forward to watching it. But I think now storm chasing fans get to enjoy not just Twisters, they can enjoy Supercell as well.
Well, I guess we've learned you can tell that story with a clown. So there's that, I guess.
I did really enjoy it a lot. The footage, the Pecos Hanks footage was great, and it was great in it. Mm-hmm. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So quick, Johnny, what are you working on anything right now? What's next on your agenda?
I mean, this is number one right now. I flew to Dallas with him to, be here and for the premiere of this film and then the storm chasing community, like right in the heart of it. So this is number one. I just had an episode on a TV show called Station 19 that just aired tonight, actually. And my brother was texting me during the podcast. I was like, shut up, dude. I'm busy.
Congrats.
But, yeah, thank you. So episode 10, season 6 of Station 19, got that. Obviously Supercell tomorrow. And then I'm working on an independent film myself that co-starred in, and I also co-produced. It was my first filmmaking experience. And he's actually been giving me some notes on our rough cut. So that's what I've been working on now.
Good.
And
good.
Television and film industry is kind of weird right now. It's a bit of it's halted. There's an impending writer strike this coming May. So
yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah. Well,
so
good luck. Good luck.
Good luck, you guys.
Yeah, good luck with the new project, Jamie. What's next on your plate?
Seashells.
Vacation.
Seashells. Okay. Film.
So there's
or
two
vacation.
projects. Well, the funny thing is I end up writing things that I just do as a hobby and like vacation. So storm chasing was the first thing. I've been going to Florida my whole life, but I discovered the west coast of Florida, which is basically Sanibel down to Marco Island. I don't know if any of you have been to that area. Is paradise for me. And I didn't know it was the Mecca of seashells. And you have the most amount of species of seashells than anywhere in the world in like this region of the country. So I've been a hobbyist in collecting seashells for like 8 years. And I thought that would be great subject matter for the next film. I like to tie into things that I think anyone could have a relation to, like weather. I feel like everyone can relate to seashells. The story I'm going to tell with the seashells, though, is more or less a grounded sci-fi about a small beachside community in Southwest Florida where the shells that wash ashore, when you put them to your ear, it connects you to the afterlife. So that one's a little bit more, more of a science fiction, stab. But while I'm doing that, I just finished production on a documentary about seashells. So so what I should have done with Storm Chasing, which was actually make a feature-length documentary, then make the movie, because I had the connections and the relationships. I'm doing that with seashells, and trust me, if you think storm chasers are fascinating, people who collect seashells are very fascinating.
I'll tell you what, it's funny that you say that, because our next podcast that we're creating is called Seashells Freaks Podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
It's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so crazy that we're doing the same thing.
Is there going to be a seashell NATO in there somewhere?
You want to hear the weather connection? So as we're filming this, what was like a Christopher Guest Best in Show kind of, fun comedy of people who collect seashells, we're filming in Sanibel in July. What happens in September? One of the worst hurricanes to make landfall in Florida decimates Sanibel. We show up there 2 weeks later. We get a civilian pass to get on the island. Fox, CNN, no one has footage of what the island looked like 2 weeks after. I have footage. And it's a story about a community that gets destroyed and then has to rebuild. And the seashells are the through line now. So I think that documentary is going to be very powerful.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
I'll watch that.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Good luck on the premiere tomorrow night. And the movie's amazing. I think we all enjoyed it. And I think all of our listeners and the whole storm and weather community is going to love how true to nature it is. I love hearing Alec Baldwin after the windows blew out say you're welcome, because there's some legit shit there. So that's good. And so I was very impressed. You guys both did a great job. So thank you both.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome.
For having us.
Yeah. All right.
Good luck tomorrow.
Enjoy tomorrow. Have a great time with it all. I know Dan's going to be there. So.
Yeah, we'll see Dan. And if anybody, by the way, I think there's like still, 12 tickets left.
Is there that many?
Let's see.
We get live.
So if anyone else would like to come tomorrow night.
Let's see. Oh, wow. Oh, no. I mean, listen, you can see it here. You see?
Oh, there's okay.
It's
front row.
Front two rows.
Here's what I noticed, though. The very front row, those are love seats. So if nothing else, like bring your spouse or partner or whatever, and I can lick it up on the front row. That's
that be our show title.
They don't put them in the back row anymore. They put them in the front row, I guess. So that's
lick it up on the front row.
You never know what you're going to get out of Phil after he's had it.
All right. You guys are awesome. So thank you so much. Jamie, we'll end up posting this podcast tomorrow. So I'll tag you on some stuff. Johnny, I'll tag you too now that we got your stuff. Tractor Johnny, is that what it was?
Yeah, I already found him. I found
Johnny
Jamie.
Wacker on Instagram. Whack your tractor on Twitter.
Whack your
tractor. Ladies, hop on and have a ride.
Already.
Oh, that's so good. That is so
funny.
good.
It was easy to find.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah.
Are you going to have him do a little thing?
We did. We have been on before. So
you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're good. We're good.
Cool.
So, all right, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Good night.
guys. Have
we
a great
appreciate
day
it.
tomorrow.
Y'all too. Thank you very much again. This was great.
Good stuff.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay. All right.
That was one of the funnest ones we've had.
That was fun.
Time.
I enjoyed that. Good guys.
I found Johnny on both of them that fast.
Whacked tractor.
He's funny.
There you go.
I love the butt.
Maz NATO.
Oh God.
He's a lot of hot air. That's a lot of truth to that. That's for sure. All right. So we are just because I figured we'd go a little long with this, which is okay. Good stuff. Great questions too, Garrett and Dan and Angela. You good shit.
Mm-hmm.
Good shit.
Yes.
Good stuff. All right. So we are going to come back and we basically just have #WeatherFools. So Dina, this is going to be your bag tonight.
Okay, who's got a weather fool?
I have 5.
I do have.
I'm still catching up.
I do have 2.
Oh,
Okay.
MJ's got some.
MJ's in the show.
How many do you have, MJ?
Two.
Wow.
They're
Have you
listener.
ever had a weather
They're listener contributions.
Okay. Okay, so MJ, Phil,
I do those.
I have 2. Maz, never mind. He never has one.
I'll let MJ have them tonight.
Okay.
Thanks, Maz.
Anytime, buddy.
And then this is episode 179.
Can you believe it?
I have to figure out how to share my screen.
Nice. Put some skeletons on there.
Let's see. Hang on. Share screen.
Yeah, Brady did have that Frankenstein.
Wow, look at this. They've got. I'm glad you caught that reference. That was good. So hey, MJ, StreamYard's got a new way for me to share a tab, and at the top of the screen there is a button that says view tab, so I can go to my twitter.com tab to then play the video, and then the button says view tab StreamYard and go back to my StreamYard. That's pretty cool.
Cool.
That's
I
new.
have no idea what you're talking about, but I can look.
Yeah.
They've added several things, and I've tried to keep up. But
yeah, I know. That's good.
Hey, before I forget, since
Share
Serena's not
tab.
here, Dina should do Serena's close.
Okay.
Hold on. So Garrett says share a tab means something totally different in your neck of the woods.
Oh, wow.
Share a tab?
I am gone. I have no clue what you're talking about. I don't know if I want you to explain, but
yeah,
maybe not. Okay. Oh, I got to look that up on Urban Dictionary or whatever. It's probably not on Urban Dictionary. It's probably on Redneck Dictionary, or what would it be? Share tab. I shouldn't. All right, we should move on. Move on from that. Pain pills. Okay, so Dina, you are doing Serena's clothes.
Weatherfools and her clothes. Okay.
And her clothes, okay. Her clothes. She just had the one on merchandise.
Yeah, I see it. I got it up.
All right. So, all right. So we're going to come in on the who, right? And then I'll do the applause. And then once the applause dies down, you can introduce Weather Fools. Two of mine are going to include audio. So I'm going to share the audio on those as well.
All right.
And then we got MJ, and who else? You?
Me.
All right. What order do you want to go in?
I'll just go you first, Phil.
Oh shit. Okay.
Unless you want to go second.
No, I think I'll figure it out. I'll have to talk a little bit while I'm also trying to.
All right, I'll do
pull up the
MJ
next
first.
one. All right, do
Oh,
MJ
okay.
first. That's a
MJ,
good
you
idea.
ready? Are you sharing your screen?
I got it. I got Phil, me, and you. I see him.
All right, everybody ready to roll?
And I had a Freak fan box, but I can't find it again, and I'll just save it for next time. So
Holy shit. Jeremy missed only one of the blank NATO questions. Are you kidding me?
yeah, he was answering them in the.
Yeah, I see that, but I didn't know he was that. Wow, Jeremy, way to go. He missed
way too much time.
He missed Clown NATO, as everyone did. It's totally legit. I don't know where the hell you can find it. Probably the dark web, but
The nipple one was funny. I'm like, 'cause
Nipple
didn't we have that drink last
well, hey,
year?
so
Yeah, that
I'll
sounds like
say
a good
this:
drink,
we didn't necessarily call them nipple twisters, gentlemen. Did you ever do that when you were boys and kids? What'd you call them?
I don't know what you're referring to. Not at all there, Phil.
Yeah, we call them titty twisters.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Titty twisters, but so I familyed it up a little bit for the show. All right, Dina.
I got plenty.
All right.
Let's rock and roll. So we're going to do Dina, and then Dina, it's episode 179 show notes at stormfrontfreaks.com. So send them to our website if they want to get the links. I'm going to briefly talk a little bit about our survey we got going on, and then MJ, I'll turn it over to you.
Nope.
Oh, nothing. Okay.
No,
Freak fan.
I got one, but I'm gonna save it for next time. I
All
don't
right.
have
Nobody
that.
loves us. Fuck. All right. And then we'll close it up.
I don't have time for that anyway.
Angela's in a truck stop.
Shh, I am in a truck stop.
Are you you're in a Love's, aren't you?
She's getting a hot dog.
No, I'm in the Flying J in Rapid City, South Dakota.
Flying J.
Oh, Rapid City.
So for those of you, which is probably all of you, that don't actually listen to our podcast when we post it as a podcast, we've got we got a guy, Brolin, who's been doing Dan knows bro. He's been doing some truck stop food reviews for us.
Right. Yeah.
Or gas station. Sorry,
I should
gas
get my own
station.
segment.
Gas station food reviews. Yeah,
Yes.
you could, Angela. You could add to that too. But yeah, so he's like stopping at gas stations during his chases and then doing a food review on something that gas station, food sells on the some roller dog or
You
something.
get something free, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, really.
Get something. Yeah, that's right. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Coming in 3, 2.
Welcome back, everyone. This is a part of the show called #WeatherFools. This is the part where we share videos of people doing stupid stuff. Everybody's got a HD camera now, so, if you're going to do something stupid, you might end up on the show. So, MJ, I hear you actually have some weather fools for us.
Yeah, I have a couple of them that were contributed to us, of course, by our listeners. And the first one, I should just have Dan do it himself because he contributed this one, I believe. And let me play it here because it's a lot better if you actually see it in process.
Woo!
And it's a great shot of a twister.
That is.
Someone's in their backyard?
Someone's in their backyard. But the problem is you watch it start destroying stuff and it's going to destroy this little shed. I'll make it a little bigger.
Oh, it's coming right at him.
And it's coming right at him. Yes, it is. And they're just
man.
filming it. And you think it's going really slow, but watch it pick up.
Oh, there goes the picket fence.
There it goes.
That's good video,
close.
though.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of a fool there. Again, great shot at the beginning.
Holy cow.
Not so great at the end.
When it gets the fence in his yard,
Yes.
that's a little scary.
Yes, that was kind of crazy. Jen Walton shared this one.
This is great.
And this is pretty funny. Yeah, so we'll get this going here, and you watch this on they're on a cruise ship. They're getting ready.
Oh, I saw
There's this
this
huge
is great.
squall line coming behind
Look
them.
at their hair.
Their hair's all standing up. So one would say there's probably a little electricity in the air.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh.
And the thing is, you're kind of waiting for that burst, and then it stops. So I don't know if they ever had anything come out of that.
Anybody get hit by lightning? We don't know.
I was
But boy,
waiting.
were they
They were lucky.
They were
Wow.
lucky. That's a little bit foolish. Yeah. So
Wow.
there you go. There's a couple of them.
All right, Phil, I heard you have like a one or two, right?
I've got a couple again. I mentioned this on the last episode. We went a couple episodes without we didn't have #WeatherFools. So they've been kind of gathering up, and I kind of say I didn't show them all last episode, and I'm not even showing them all this episode, but this is one of them, and obviously the audio on this. Sam Shearer, who's a TV meteorologist. This was in a morning show, and you never know what's going to happen in those morning shows. And I've got another morning show clip after this, but here's Sam covering, I guess, the weather in the Denver area.
Now, the snow left a skid of heavy dumps.
A skid.
A skid of heavy dumps.
Oh, no.
Live television.
And he catches himself.
A lot of snow. A lot of snow. It's a good thing only like 5 of you are awake this morning to hear that. Now, the snow left a skid of heavy dumps.
That's funny.
I thought he was going to say it left tracks.
That would
I
have
love
been.
that he laughed about it though, because sometimes they just go on, like it never happened. Laugh
That
it
would have been
off,
that
man.
definitely would have been pretty good. So, all right, the next one is another morning show, and this is Jordan Smith, ABC News 36, and this was their morning show. So we'll cover this one.
us sometime. You know, we all head out to different community events throughout the year, be it the Salvation Army bell ringing or a number of other events, especially the weather team. They go out to so many meet and greets and events like that. Maybe we should do a GMK one.
Yeah, just pick your favorite truck stop. We'll stop in.
That's right.
Do a Pilot or Buc-ee's. Oh, get some of that. What is it you always
It's
get,
in
George? You
Richmond.
love the
beef
brisket.
jerky brisket.
Oh.
Beef jerky brisket.
There we go.
It
That's
is
all
so
we
good.
need.
I went this morning.
Did you?
Yes, on my way up. Because they're open 24/7.
Oh, yeah. I'm
I
telling
went
you.
at like 2:30 on my way
That
in.
Bucky, he has got it going on.
Me and the beef are like this.
Well, if you got any questions, and Jordan answered most
Oh
of
my
those you might have
God.
had about
I
him.
love it.
You want to ask us here on Good Morning Kentucky, send us a direct message on social media. You can find all three of us on your favorent platform.
A final look at your forecast with Jordan is coming up next.
Good old me and the beaver.
Oh, God.
Man.
Classic. So those
I have
morning
not
shows, those morning shows seem to kind of always be a little bit like that. But
People always talk about that Buc-ee's, though.
A little too much coffee.
Have you been, Dina?
No, but we just got in a conversation about it at work. Like everybody was
Yeah.
losing their minds over it.
Yeah.
all right, next one I've got. This is actually a Twitter site. This is at Bad Weather Take. At Bad Weather Take. And this is kind of a hashtag Weather Fools site. Everything about this Twitter account, they show all kinds of people that are saying just stupid stuff about the weather. They don't understand or get the weather. Here's a map from National Weather Service in Boston of winter precipitation. And there's just colors all over the place.
That too.
Crazy.
Oh my God.
Like,
that
how the
hurts
heck
your
are you
eyes.
supposed to tell where you're at? But anyway, so that's just kind of a reference to a Twitter account that's pretty funny with its own hashtag WeatherFools. Next one is from Heather Odom, and this one is actually of a gentleman. This was in Dallas, so this is a couple weeks ago when Dallas had their wintry weather. Dan, you're probably familiar with this, but here's a guy from his Ring camera out his front deck, and he's going to be walking outside. He's holding his little dog. It's a schnauz.
Sure.
What is that? What's the hot dog? Wiener dog.
Dachshund?
Dachshund. I don't know. I'm drunk.
Wiener dog.
Anyway, watch him walk outside, and it's a little slick.
Oh boy!
And he saves the dog. He's like, "Here you go, dog." He dumps the dog while he keeps sliding down the sidewalk.
Oh my gosh!
The dog's like, I'll save
Dog
you.
comes right behind him,
No.
and he wipes out at the end.
Oh, I love the fact that he saved the dog. Right? He just like, dog, you're exiting right here. And I'm going to keep just slipping down the sidewalk.
That was kind
Save
of a
yourself.
sweet thing, though. The dog's like, I'll help. That was cute.
All right. And the last one, very similar as well, is a slippery situation. This is a gentleman again. Here's their front porch dash cam or their front porch cam. And it's a little slick. Now, if you'll notice, he's got a water, which I assume would be probably some hot water that he's going to put on his car to melt the sheen of ice on his car.
Yeah.
But as he's going to his car,
oh boy!
Look at his head. Watch his head hit that pavement.
Oh.
And he broke his pot.
He broke his bucket.
And he had a pot, or a bucket or something.
Jesus,
That was a bad idea from the very start.
Oh, his head bounces off the pavement.
Ow.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
That doesn't work either, just to let you know.
Yeah, you could shatter a window.
That's just not good.
All right, I've got one here too, and this was Dallas. This was not too long ago, but it's a snowy road, so some guy decides to get towed by a car.
Oh, that's always smart.
And he's going fast. I mean, it looks fast to me, and then he gets close to the end by like all the poles, and I'm just thinking, oh my God,
Lord,
he's a
like he's gonna hit a tree.
Yeah, like how much can you really cut on that thin of snow on a road? Like for him to be able to cut and prevent himself from hitting that tree, I agree.
Right.
I don't know, but he went right past that power pole. He's at the edge of the, the the road, you got to hit one time. He's got to be going fast. I mean, it
That
looks
is
fast.
that
in this
does look
video.
fast.
So I'm like,
Just hit
that
one
must have
dry
taken some
patch and-
alcohol.
I'd
And then
do
this
it.
one, I'm not sure if I've ever shared this, but this was so funny. So the guy's out doing the reporting on the side of the road, and all of a sudden he's like, "What? What?" And his mom pulls up. Hi, baby.
Mom. I saw
He's like,
you.
Mom, I'm trying to work.
I brought your peanut butter sandwich.
Like, did you put your clean underwear on? He's like, Mom, move it along. And it was just such a cute moment.
Yeah,
you know?
but the high's going to be 53 today. And thanks, Mom.
I just love that she pulls up. She's like, "Hi, baby." It was just the cutest thing ever, and I loved it. So if you want to watch any of these, they're on episode 179 of the Stormfront Freaks show notes, and you can go to the stormfrontfreaks.com.
Very good. I'll tell you what, before we start closing things up, I don't want to forget to ask everybody for your help. If you can go to stormfrontfreaks.com, like Dina mentioned, and fill out our quick 4-minute survey, it's going to give us direction for the future and also let you enter into a prize drawing for some Midland radio products and some Stormfront Freaks swag. If you go to the website, you'll see it right at the top. But we definitely appreciate the number of freaks that have already completed it, because we've had a lot of people give us their input. And we really do appreciate that. Again, you'll find it at the top of the website, stormfrontfreaks.com. So I think that just about does it for this episode. We thank you for listening or watching.
And before we announce the guest of our next episode, if you like the show, don't forget to follow us on your podcast player so you get notified and receive the latest episodes of our show delivered right to your library the moment they get released. And if you enjoy the show we put together, send a friend your favorite episode.
And you can subscribe to our YouTube page and watch previous versions of the Stormfront Freaks Raw, which are completely unedited. Hear all the great conversations during the breaks, great questions from our Patreon VIPs, and who knows what else gets censored out of our audio podcast. Just search Stormfront Freaks on YouTube or find the link on our website.
We had a few swear words this episode.
I've got some editing to do. We'd also love to have you on our Patreon team. You can find a level of support that fits your budget as low as $1 a month. Visit stormfrontfreaks.com to find the Patreon link so you can join our Raw broadcasts, have access to exclusive merch, or get on the waiting list to become one of our limited VIPs and be with us and our guests in the studio on every show.
And don't forget to check out all our new Stormfront Freaks merchandise currently on sale for chase season. We have new hats, t-shirts as low as $16, sweatshirts, tanks, and more, all with our tornado logo on it. You'll find it along everything else at stormfrontfreaks.com.
Let's find out, freaks, how people can follow you on social media as well. Maz, I'll start with you.
All right, I'm on Twitter at moneystorm, the number 4, U. The letter U.
Okay. Dina?
I am on Twitter at LadyPilot70 and on Instagram as Dina OSU.
All right, MJ.
Twitter at Mark Stormpod, MARC Stormpod.
Awesome. You can find me on Twitter at Stormfront Freak. We also have a Facebook and Instagram account as well. Just search Stormfront Freaks to find those.
Hey, and special thanks to our guests Jamie Winterstern and Johnny Wachter.
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Good time. And if you haven't seen Supercell yet, definitely look that up either at a large city near you, because it's definitely a big screen. You should watch it on the big screen, but definitely you can check it out on your paid apps. All right, Dina.
Oh, do I have something else?
Yeah, you're up next.
Did I have something else? All right. Next episode, we've got meteorologist Jason Frazier from the new Fox Weather Digital Broadcast Network. Patreon members will be able to watch live on Thursday, March 30th. The edited audio podcast will be available to everyone else on Sunday, April 2nd.
Very good. So Maz, Dina, MJ, And Dan, Garrett, and Angela, I'm going to go ahead and signal the all clear, and we will catch you guys next time. Good night. Enjoy Supercell.
Good night.
Supercell.
Sorry about that. I guess I didn't go to the next page.
That's all right. MJ can edit that.
Magic of editing, boy. I got.
What are you eating there, Ange? What'd you end up with?
Oreos.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So what's this about? Buc-ee's is not a truck stop?
Yeah.
They don't allow semi trucks in there.
No.
I guess
really?
the story, the speculation, the story that I hear is that the owner's father got killed in a wreck with the tractor trailer, so he's completely 100% against semi tractor trailers at his stores.
Do they sell diesel?
I believe they do.
All right.
The clearance is low.
Yeah, pick up
I guess
truck.
if you're an owner, you can decide what the hell you want to do. If you don't want to make money, that's your prerogative.
The one in the one out, I don't remember. The one in Alabama, maybe. Like they'll there's a back road, and they're like, just go park back there, you'll be fine. So.
I wish I could share a picture on here. Actually, I probably could, but I snapped a picture
me and the beaver.
That was so good.
we're like
And that's
that.
Kentucky. You know, they're saying that in Kentucky. Just saying.
So it's dark, and you can't see her, but like wave hi to my trainee.
Oh, another trainee. I hope they do better than your last one.
It's been she's getting off my truck tomorrow. It's been 2 weeks, and she survived in this small space, so I think she's gonna be okay.
Good news. Awesome. Good news. Well, wish her luck for us.
See you in your truck, Angela.
Do what?
You want to pee in her truck? What'd you say?
I want to see her in her truck.
See her.
I mean, like,
how
this
drunk
is it.
are you?
This is it. The whole thing.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Wow.
That's cool.
You can do a "Where in the World is Angela" instead of.
We got to do like
Nice.
do like Smoking the Bandit music when we come see you.
Yeah. What do we have for that?
All right, I'm ending.
That would be good.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ending the podcast.